of the songbook with Srila Sridhar Maharaj's commentary. And as part of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's publication, part of our Vandana is included here. And Chagya Maharaj made a very nice, clear translation of that, as he always does, with some word for word. So we can go through that. It's not the full one, but a good part of it is there. So we can go through that. Let me see what it goes up to here. Vishakha. So our Guru's up to Gorkishore. Then up to Vanshakalpa, Panchatattva, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Jayatam Sarvapangor. Oh, so then from here we will, it's almost exactly the same actually. Okay. Are we ready, Prabhu? We can. Yes. Okay. All right. So by Simon's request, and it's very nice to do. It's something that I always want to do, but not very often I actually do, is to review what it is that we're chanting, so we're not just a bunch of mechanical robots, right? So maybe we can first chant this first one together, and then we can go through the translation. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Grijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padahan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Devidasi. Okay, I'm going to read the translation that I have here in this Sharanagati. First, I offer my obeisance unto the lotus feet of my initiating Guru, unto all of my instructing Gurus, unto all of the Gurus within the line of descendant succession, and unto all the devotees of the Lord. Next, I offer my obeisance unto Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu, Srila Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Prabhu, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu, and all of the associates and followers of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu. Thereafter I offer my obeisance unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Prabhu, and all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Finally, I offer my obeisance unto the feet of Sri Radha, Krishna, Sri Lalita Devi, Sri Vishakha Devi, and all of their associates. So, I was fortunate, I came across one recording of Srila Sridhar Maharaj giving some explanation of this verse. Unfortunately, it was in Bengali, so I couldn't catch all of it, but part of it I could catch. And also in another place, we know Srila Sridhar Maharaj likes this verse very much because he commented how it covers everything, this verse. Everything's covered in this verse. In another place I heard him mention, there was some meeting at our mat and with Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada and some of the Western sannyasis of Srila Swami Maharaj, they gave some short talks, and one of them, maybe it was Tamal Krishna Maharaj, I don't remember, one of them, he gave a talk and he started with this verse, like as an introductory invocation. Sometimes, often, before we give some lecture, we'll make some prayer, some particular verse we will chant as an invocation. So he selected this verse. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj commented how pleased he was that he chose that verse because everything is covered there. And also in that place where I heard Srila Sridhar Maharaj give some explanation in Bengali, he explained that there are 4 levels which are being described. We are offering our obeisance at 4 different levels, and there's some some like particular approach is being shown here, right? That we never will jump to the highest. They're not immediately jumping to, Radha, Krishna, Vrindavan, but our first contact, our immediate guru. First, we are offering obeisance there, and so there are 4 levels at which obeisance is being offered. First, there is guru, general, and specific and general. So the Diksha Guru and the Shiksha Guru are being referred to here. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Diksha and Shiksha. Well, Guru you understand. Yeah. Everybody knows what Guru. Even anyone on the street practically knows what Guru means. And Diksha is referring to one's initiating Guru, one who has formally given one initiation, given them the holy name. That is the Diksha Guru. And Shiksha means instruction. So it means one who is giving one some enlightenment in spiritual life. And that may be anyone, actually. Anyone who is, as Srila Sridhar Maharaj says in one place, is helping to untangle the knots in our conception and our consciousness, like clear our consciousness, give us proper conception in Krishna consciousness and for progress in our spiritual life. They are Guru. And that may be anyone. And in our line, we put more emphasis on Shiksha rather than Diksha. Because Diksha may be more of a bodily connection, like a formal, physical connection. But Shiksha is something more living and more substantial. So sometimes persons, they may have a Diksha Guru, but then they feel a deeper connection with the Shiksha Guru. That sometimes may happen.
So how do you, this is probably a subject from a talk possibly, but how do you find your Shiksha Guru and how do you eventually find your Diksha Guru and how do you relate to it? I feel like I'm so, for example, in the Yasi Maharaj I speak to quite frequently, I email quite frequently.
Yes.
Jyoti Maharaj, Sachi, there's lots of people.
Yeah, all of those persons you can think of as Shiksha Guru. Yeah, you can think of all of them as Shiksha Gurus to you. And Diksha Guru, you have to see who is like playing that role, because there are many persons who are very qualified as gurus, but for one reason or another they may not be acting in that capacity. And so that will narrow things down to see who is acting in that capacity as an initiating guru, and hear from them, and decide who you feel touches your heart the most, who you feel that connection with. Krishna, sometimes we hear it like this, that Krishna, he will choose to reveal himself to someone through a particular agent. Krishna may choose to, actually, ultimately Guru means Krishna. Guru is the via media, right? So Krishna may choose a particular via media through whom to reveal himself to you. So you have to try to perceive where you feel that deep connection. It is a very, it is a mystical thing, because we see that someone, one person may feel Guru in one person, but another person won't feel that, because it's some special inspiration that will come and it will be given to one and not necessarily to others. It is a peculiar thing. I just came across in one place one comment of Srila Sridhar Maharaj that sometimes we may hear some praise of a disciple for a guru, and we may think, is that praise really justified? And then he said, we may understand this is the praise of a disciple. They are being given some particular vision. They have some particular feeling Guru in that person. Krishna's revealing Guru through that person. So they're seen, like from an absolute perspective, actually may not really be justified, that type of praise, that type of vision. But that is the particular inspiration coming to that particular disciple. So there's no like black and white way, there's no formula, But of course we will restrict our search amongst those who are giving the conception which we have accepted to be the highest, right? You know? So that will narrow things down. Now, who is representing this line and these teachings and this conception? Then amongst this group, who do I feel some particular affinity with? You know, and take some time, you know, to hear from you know, different initiating gurus. Give some, not necessary to rush into anything, but to hear from each one. You know, try to develop some kind of a relationship and see where you feel, can I put my faith here? Because it's a heavy thing. Srila Sridhar Maharaj compared it to a marriage. Of course, nowadays that doesn't have so much significance. It's taken a lot more lightly nowadays than it used to be, you know. But like in traditional cultures, if you marry someone, it's for life. Divorce is like, what is divorce? Is that in the dictionary? Like, it doesn't exist, you know. When our Gurudev first started coming to the West, he had to like clarify, what does this word mean? Like it wasn't something within his experience before he started coming to the West. So, but Srila Sridhar Maharaj compared it to that type of relationship. Once you've made that connection, you can't break it. You know, it's lifelong. So one should be very sure, you know. And sometimes we see that, I mean, like in the time of our Gurudev, it was different, you know, because he was a Vaishnava of such a high caliber that, you know, everybody felt satisfied to the utmost, you know, and far, far beyond. But in our current circumstances, I do sometimes come across persons who they've taken initiation, they come to a certain point where they feel some lacking, some disappointment, they need something more. But then the shiksha connection comes to their relief, you know, that they may feel that shiksha connection from other Vaishnavas, or even from our Gurudev, who is not, even though they haven't met them, they're not physically present in our Param Gurudev, you know, because it's a spiritual connection. So the primary importance is always given to the shiksha connection. And I also wanted to mention in this regard, in our Guru Param, we have one song that we sing on the appearance days of important gurus, acharyas in our line, and it was prepared by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Are you becoming familiar with these names? Yeah. Slowly? Okay.
I get a bit confused sometimes.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Very quick,
So he prepared this song, which is like listing all these acharyas, and you see in his selection, some persons he's chosen, they didn't take diksha within our line. In what is known as the Gaudiya line, Mahaprabhu's line, they did not take diksha, you know, formal initiation there. They actually took formal initiation in another line, in another Vaishnav line. But then, when they came to hear of the teachings of Mahaprabhu and met with the proponents of Mahaprabhu's conception, they felt, oh, this is something superior, and they you know, converted, or however you want to say it. Then they came to take up this, you know, as something higher, and they did not need to change their diksha connection. They left that, but they accepted shiksha instruction in this line. And there is it in the case of Baladev Vijayabhushan. He is included as an important acharya in our line, even though he originally took diksha elsewhere, because he took shelter of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, prominent acharya in our line, and Baladev Vijayabhushan. He also gave a very important contribution. You know, he gave a commentary, a Gaudiya Vaishnava commentary on Vedanta Sutra, which is an important Vedic text. So, because of that, the formality is disregarded. You know, the substance that is considered to be all in all. So this, you know, guru, it is a broad conception. So in the first category, you know, Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, all gurus in this line, and also all Vaishnavas, they are all being honored. And it mentions here in the, because Srila Sridhar Maharaj in his commentary and of here, and also here in these Vandana verses, he has some word for word, and he has some additional comments in the word for word. So here he says, for Vaishnav, he says, unto all the devotees of the Lord within all universal ages, unto all devotees of the past, present, and future. So all Vaishnavas are being included here. And this word Yuta is very nice. Sri Yuta is explained here as being, because it's not in the translation, because it doesn't quite fit, but Sri Yuta Pada Kamalam. Pada Kamala means lotus feet, and Sri Yuta here means beautiful, glorious, or divine. So very, very wonderful praise. The beautiful lotus, the beautiful, glorious, divine lotus feet of Guru and Vaishnava. So this is level 1. Then in the next level, these are the Shastra Gurus who are being honored, and they are being given some higher honor, higher position. By Shastra Guru, Shastra means scripture. You've heard that, and so it means these gurus who have given us the scriptures of devotion. And so particularly Rupa Goswami, who is the head, who Mahaprabhu appointed as the head of his line. Rupa Goswami, his elder brother, Sanatan Goswami. Sagar Jatam, that is referring to elder brother, is Sanatan Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami, and also Jiva Goswami. They are the principal Goswamis who Mahaprabhu empowered to put his teachings of pure devotion into writing. Mahaprabhu himself, he did not write, hardly anything, just a few verses. First we can say the ancient Vedic texts, they are, I don't know how much you've heard or come to understand, but there's so much that is presented in the ancient Vedic text. There's a vast body of literature, and actually everything is there, but it is very mixed, we can say. There are many different. It is like you can say like a school system where there's level 1, level 2, level 3. There's so many different levels of conception which are presented in order to accommodate anyone. Whatever background someone's coming from, and whatever they're ready to take, are they at kindergarten level theism, or are they class 1, class 2? There's something there for everyone. Because if you just give the highest, then many people are going to be excluded. They're not going to be attracted. So within the Vedic texts, we find there are so many different conceptions and different approaches. So there's not so much clarity as to what is the real goal, what is the highest goal, except in Srimad Bhagavatam, which was the final text. That is the only text which is very clearly establishing the highest teachings of divine love. And so then Mahaprabhu, he picked up that thread, and he propagated and further developed, explains these teachings, but he didn't put things into writing. And it was particularly who is being mentioned here, Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath, Jiva. They put these teachings into writing in a very philosophical and scholarly way, so that it would be, very clearly explained, and in a dignified way, in an honorable way, and also in a practical way, so that future generations could clearly understand what the teachings were. So they've given us books. We don't really study them so much, but they're available. Swami Maharaj Prabhupada published a number of them, like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which was published as the Nectar of Devotion. Upadeshamrita was published as the Nectar of Instruction. Also Hari Bhakti Vilas, that's also another one which is like relevant to us. As I said, we don't really study them so much because actually these books which have been given by our gurus, they're like distilling the essence. But our Gurudev mentioned, for those who will preach, it is good if they will read something of these books. So then in this next category, Shastra Guru, the Guru who they are being given a little more dignified, important position here. And then after that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, they are being given honor in the next level. And our approach is always, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, Gaura Leela, and by their grace and their connection, we can have connection with Sri Sri Radha Krishna Vrindavan. So always the first approach is through Mahaprabhu and his divine associates. And in that talk, I can't remember the phrase that Srila Sridhar Maharaj used, but he had some very nice way of putting it, like, they are divinity also, right? But they're in this posing of distributing, like the canvassers, divinity coming in this mood of distributing, canvassing, and then Radha, Krishna, Vrindavan, they are like in the position of like the goal, the final destination, like that. But that is one angle of vision, because another perspective is that actually Mahaprabhu is on the same level as Radha Krishna. It's not that he's in a lower level. It is simply a difference in mood. They are on an equal level. They are two different moods, two chambers of the same realm, you could say. So it's not that they are in a, Gaura Leela, Mahaprabhu and his parshads, they are in a lower level. It's not like that. But they are in that posing of putting Radha Krishna as being in the highest position. And because they are in a mood of generosity and distribution, then we have some hope in approaching them. Whereas directly approaching Radha Krishna, there's no hope there in that way. So it's mentioned, this word sa means with. So you see that a few times. This, sa grajatam, sa jivam means like with. So here sa advaitam means sa advaita, as Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, who is in this Pancha Tattva, these five principal persons. So Advaita Acharya. And then Savadutam. Avadut is one way that Nityananda is referred to. Yes. And Avadut, it means someone who is beyond, they're the very highest level of attainment, and liberated from the mundane environment, and not conforming to Isham Prabhu. Welcome. And not conforming to the norms and etiquette of social behavior. They're beyond any need to follow a particular regulated lifestyle, follow a particular dress, and do's and don'ts and all of this type of thing. So they're considered like a higher class than, say, someone who's acting like as a sannyasi or an acharya in a formal society. They have to conform to particular behavior and etiquette. But an avadut is just considered to be beyond all of that, and they can behave however they want, because they have no need to follow these things. So Nityananda Prabhu, his behavior could be very eccentric, and he didn't conform to a particular, style of, mode of conduct, and
regulations, dress, and he was, more often than not, mad in divine love and, behaving in all kinds of, unexpected ways, So he became known as the Avadut, So here is being referred to as Avadut. So here, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is being honored along with his associates like Advaita and Nityananda. And then Shri Radha Krishna with all of their group, headed by Lalita and Vishakha. They are the Krishna has 8 principal girlfriends, and it's Lalita, Vishakha. They are the 2 principal in that group. So yeah, as we said, this first verse, like everything is covered there. All gurus, all Vaishnavas, Mahaprabhu and his associates, Shri Radha Krishna and their associates. So this is how we are beginning the Vandana. And then we can chant the next verse together. Om Jnana Timirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitanjena Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay, I'm going to read this translation because I think it's more clear than the one there. I offer my obeisance unto Sri Gurudev, who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance, with the salve of divine knowledge. So here we have a general prayer to Guru, to Guru in general, and very, very wonderful. This analogy is given of blindness, and Guru, and that blindness of the eyes means our ignorance, right? Our lack of spiritual knowledge and our entanglement in this, with illusion and this world of samsara. So that is a type of blindness. This anda means blind. Timira. Timira, darkness. So we are in this state of, being blind in the darkness. And then Guru, he has come, and he has, he's giving us light. He's giving us the light of spiritual knowledge. He's opening our eyes. So this very nice phrase is here, Jnananjana. So Jnan is knowledge. And then Anjana, it means something like some type of like a salve. It says here, like a salve. Like if you have maybe something wrong, you'll have some medicinal cream that you'll apply here to help to heal it. So this like salve, like cream of spiritual knowledge, he has come and applied that. And this word shalakaya, it means like some type of instrument, like some pen or some instrument that you'll use to apply this cream. So Guru is coming with this shalakaya and applying this anjana, this cream of jnana, of spiritual knowledge, and in that way he is, is in unmilitam. Unmilitam means opening. And in this way he has opened my chakshu, my eyes. So, tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Unto him, Shri Guru, I offer my namaha, I offer my respect, my obeisance. So it's a very, very beautiful. Yeah, it's wonderful.
The translation here was it's good, it doesn't provide the level of detail that you're providing.
Well, this one has a word for word. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those verses, it's hard, you can't really give like a literal, you kind of have to discuss it in order to appreciate it, because you can't really say in like a translation all this stuff, it sounds too weird, right? I mean, it doesn't sound very poetic, It's one of those things, it gets lost in translation. In the Sanskrit, it's, very beautiful, but in English. So it's nice to discuss, to appreciate. This is a nice verse to learn. This is one of those verses that everybody knows. You know this verse, right? Everybody knows this. Yeah, you can make that your homework to learn this verse. This JN with this N with a squiggle on top, when you see it, that J and an N, the sound is like a GY, gya. Maybe you already got that already. It's like gya, so gyan, agyan, gyananjana. And one way, I've heard Srila Sridhar Maharaj explain this verse more specifically is how, in the beginning, we are like living in ignorance and we don't realize it, right? But when we begin to practice, then the grace of Guru comes to us, and in the light of his grace, we begin to perceive our ignorance. We begin to, just like if someone's like shining a flashlight, we can see so many things that we couldn't see before. So in the course of our practicing life, as we develop, more and more we'll start to perceive our defects. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj describes that as the grace of Guru. He says, the eye to detect our own disqualification is our greatest wealth. And that is the grace of Guru. That's how he says it.
Flashlight is those massive, intense white lights you see. And I'm only embryonic on this journey, so I think what lights
So in other words, we should not be discouraged, when we begin to see these things in ourselves. Rather, it's a good sign. That is the fact that we're able to perceive it and see it. That is a symptom of grace. That is Guru. It's only in his light that we can see that in the first. Yesterday we couldn't see it. We were just comfortably coexisting with our ignorance. But now it's like becoming uncomfortable. We're perceiving it. We're feeling it. There's something wrong here, and this isn't okay. It's uncomfortable.
And when you get the strength of removing this ignorance?
How do you get the strength of
removing that ignorance?
Well, that also we can't do on our own. We're also depending on that grace of Guru. They will give us that strength. That's what we're singing, right? And Guru Dev Kripa Bindu Diya Koro Edase China Pekka Ati Dina Sakale Samman Kodite Shakati. That this, give me this power, this Shakti, this bowl, this strength. We are utterly dependent on higher grace. But our own efforts, no doubt, we also have to apply. We have to put what effort and endeavor we can, but depending on grace at the same time, knowing we can only do it with that higher grace. We're not going to just sit and do nothing and wait. Yeah, it's up to you, Gurudev. I can't do anything on my own. I'm just going to continue. Whenever you want, you can. No, we have to make some effort, of course. And if we feel the need, necessity is the mother of invention. Gurudev liked that expression. If we really feel that we need this, then we'll do whatever it takes. If we really feel that hunger and that necessity. we can think actually our culture is of culture of hunger. But we will get everything we need just through realizing that we need it, and feeling that we need this. It's like if you're hungry, you will find some food. Like nobody's going to be able to separate you from food. If you're hungry, you will definitely find something to eat. So we should feel like that about our spiritual life. Like it's something that I need. It's not like a luxury or an extra, or something I do on the weekends, or something I do after 6, But like, I need this, and I cannot live without it. Just like I'm really hungry, and I need something to put in my stomach right now. So that's the main thing we're trying to cultivate. Because through hunger, we will get everything. Lolyam. Tacha lolyam, apimulyam, ekalam. It is the only way. There's no other way.
And they say also, like, when you're hungry, you need to associate with the others who are also hungry.
Yes. So that's the answer to Prabhu's question.
Yeah.
Associating with those who have that hunger, we will get the hunger and subsequent strength too. Necessity is everything. I was just looking at one article, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and he was discussing Lalita Saki. Lalita, she was mentioned in this verse, this first verse, and how there's one prayer about her. She is like the head of all the Sakis in Vrindavan, the lady friends of Krishna. She has the highest position. And she also has a position as a head, like within the whole of Vrindavan. She has very high position. But there's one verse, some verses about her and her glorification by Rupa Goswami, and he describes in one of those verses how she's sometimes going out in Vrindavan and she's canvassing for like her group, like inviting persons to join her service group to Krishna. And so it says how like sometimes persons are approaching her and sometimes she's approaching other persons, And then somebody there, they asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj, how is it possible that anyone could approach her and ask to be enlisted? Like, how could somebody have that kind of audacity? Like, can I have entrance into this highest group? Like we hear the Vaishnavas are humble, right? They never feel like they're qualified for anything. So how could they have the audacity to do that? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, necessity does not care for anything. They're feeling this heart necessity. They're not thinking about what is the proper formality and am I qualified or unqualified. They're just feeling this irresistible attraction and necessity, And necessity knows no law, knows nothing. It just knows what it needs, and it will go for that, In the same way in our spiritual, even on our level, the real feeling is that we will feel we're unqualified to be here and to do anything that we're doing. But we're doing it because it's just, we can't do anything else. It's too attractive. That's the real feeling of a real devotee. There's a beautiful verse by Rupa Goswami, which I can never remember, but when in his first meeting with Mahaprabhu, how does it go? I can't. But he says, Rupa and Sanatan, they're meeting Mahaprabhu for the first time, and many beautiful verses they chant, and one of them is very famous. It's in the Archan prayers that they chant as part of the daily worship here. Mat tulyo nasti papatma naparadi chakaschana prihere pilajame kim bruve purushottama. You know this, right? It's in the book, yeah. There's one. Nobody who's more sinful than me, nobody more offensive than me. You won't find anyone as low as I am. Like this, what more can I say? My very humble expression. And then there's another one when they meet with Mahaprabhu where he says, Like, I feel so low, I feel I'm not even fit to come in front of you. Like, I can't even, I'm not even qualified to be seen by you. He says like that. But at the same time, you are so attractive and you're so wonderful, I can't help myself. I have to come in front of you. I have to pray for your mercy because I can't bear to not do that, even though I don't deserve it, you know. Your qualities are so great and so attractive and so wonderful. So I cannot but, come before you and pray for your mercy. That is the real feeling. Not that we're coming here and we're like so great, we're like helping out and, like we're doing these people a favor. That ego may come to us sometimes. We're doing such great things, such important service, and they couldn't manage without us. But the real feeling is that. Thank you. You got. Yeah, I drink a lot of water. But not that I'm like doing something here and these people couldn't manage without me, but like I'm not qualified to sweep the floor, I'm not qualified to do the puja or the cooking or the preaching, or I'm not qualified. I'm just so grateful they're mercifully giving me this opportunity to do something, have some kind of connection, That is the real feeling. And really, it's true, We can feel sometimes like we're doing so much, but we see so many times, someone leaves and everything gets covered. Everything's suggested, everything's okay, Actually, the highest vision is that all the service is done by Srimati Radharani. It is all her service, There's one servant of Krishna, that is her, And anyone who comes to engage in any of that, they're acting as instruments, and it is their opportunity. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he referred to her as the major domo, this Latin expression, maybe you heard, housekeeper, right? She's the major domo of all of Krishna's household affairs. And so he, commented everything, from the sweeping of the temple to the cooking, everything is her service, her department. And if anyone comes to take up any of that, they're acting as an instrument. And our gurus, they're always seeing things with that type of vision. It is all with that very high vision. Once in our temple in Navadvip, sometimes when there were a lot of Westerners there, they would serve the evening prasadam a little earlier. Because there was a particular time when the offering would be made, right? But sometimes that might be a little later than persons needed to take prasadam, right? So, but Srila Sridhar Maharaj said it was acceptable that just if the bhoga, the offerings, were placed on the deity's plates, even if it wasn't formally offered to the deity, if the bhoga was just placed on the plates, then it would be considered like this has been set aside for the Lord, then everything else can be served. So sometimes in our mat, that's just for the practical considerations, that would be done. So anyhow, something like this would happen with the Westerners sometimes, that even before the offering was made to the deities, the Westerners would be served, but it was set aside and going to be offered. But once one of our Western devotees, he was like getting upset about this, and like, no, this is boga, like, this is not prasadam, this is not been offered. I'm not going to eat this. And then eventually he went to our Gurudev and he like complained about this, and Gurudev told him, this is the kitchen of Srimati Radharani. This is her kitchen. And anything that comes out of here, it is prasadam. So he was always, thinking with that type of vision. It is all her property, it is all her service, it is her kitchen, her temple, everything. Okay, well, on that note, I'm going to stop. Some of you need to take prasadam. And we can continue tomorrow with this.
I apologize if I'm throwing lots of questions at you for this.
No, I love questions. I love questions. Otherwise, things become like dry, They can become dry, and also you're not sure like how much are people listening, or are you saying what they want to hear, they need to hear, But questions make everything more living. So I'm personally happy to just do questions all the time.
Because I love that chant, but I feel like I've only sort of understood 1% of it, and just from those few lines I've just done now, I feel this could take a few weeks.
We all feel like that, actually. So, but we'll continue tomorrow. Any last comments or questions or anything? So happy to have Isham Prabhu with us.
Yeah.
Would you like to chant? And also play mridanga?
Mridanga?
Yeah, he can play mridanga.
Yes. He has the shoes
Which page is?
60.
Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Bhagavan Shri Bhakti Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai, Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ji ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Saprasad Shriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki Jai, Shri Ganga Jamuna ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulasi Devi ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Shri Kol Kartal ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai, Vishwavyapi Tadya Shaka Mat ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charja Marsh ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Vishakha Devidasi ki Jai.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.